Hello and welcome to an episode of my adventure run. Today we're going to continue last door. Last where we left off, we visited a friend. We visited his house. There seems to be a raven. Is that a raven infestation or crow infestation? And anyhow, lots of bad things happened. And our friend left us a note. So we're going to continue on to the next episode. Oh, they even have this, so I didn't have to do it myself. Jeremiah David receives a mysterious letter from his childhood friend Anthony Beechworth. He travels to his friend's manor in Sussex, where he learns of Anthony's descent into madness and the death of his wife, Anna Beechworth. David faces the perils of the house, not much of a peril to be honest, and finally finds the dead body of his friend, committed suicide. Anthony's final letter warns David of an unknown danger and asks him to remember his past by going back to the boarding school they both attended years back. Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Oh dear. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us each day our daily bread. Forgive us our sins, for we ourselves forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So once again, we enter into the brink of madness. Now, this game has a bit of a Lovecraftian-esque theme, but right now it's actually taken a lot from different inspirations. Based on what the developers said, the original inspiration for this was actually Edgar Allan Poe. Anyone can identify the story. Now tell me, where are you? What do you see? Okay. I'm in the midst of a deep, dark forest. I see trees. It's all dark. All I have is this lamplight. And I just keep going forward. Forward until I see... Who is it? Is it Anthony? Answer me. Unless I know other people who've hanged themselves in their lives, yes, it's gotta be Anthony. And then he's gone. I keep moving along the forest. I keep walking along this dark path alone. There's a baby crying. What's she doing? Get close to her. Get close to Anna. Goodness, I gotta see. Oh dear. Everyone's just disappearing from my life. When I count to 3, you'll wake up. 1, 2, 3. Now wake up! Wake up! I wasn't gonna do the deep breathing sound effect. Thank goodness the game had that. You can rest now, Mr. David. That'll be enough for today. Are these sessions really necessary? I am confident that this is the best course of treatment for your symptoms. Now, did you ever see him again? I saw it. What did you see? Can you describe it? Now, this is the first part where they... Now, when the developers were originally working in this game, they had only enough time to get the basics done. So, it was mostly just based on the single person. They got a lot of support from the community. They were able to get a lot of backers. There's a lot of interest, so they finally had the funding to do branching dialogue. Well, we know clearly what it looked like. It looked like an eye. It was like an eye, perfectly rounded and dark, deep and empty, accompanied by the most horrifying pain-filled screams I've ever heard. Inside, a complete darkness where an evil dwells deep below. A forgotten fear for human reasoning, but undoubtedly still rests deep down inside our being. In my case, that fear has already awoken. Pray for both. I can understand why you're disturbed, Mr. Devitt. With your permission, I would like to consult on your case with a colleague of mine, a man I've known for many years who is more versed in modern psychological practices. I think his knowledge and expertise will be very helpful in enabling us to understand your condition. If you think it would help, Doctor, I leave it in your hands. The agony grows increasingly unbearable, and if you believe this man can help, then I welcome his aid. Thank you, Dr. Wakefield. I bid you good evening. Meanwhile, Anthony, my friend, what really happened to you? How could you have let your wife Anna die so awfully? These doubts consume my soul. I hardly remember the time we spent together as schoolmates. I confess that, beyond your enduring friendship, I can recall little of those years. Were your words a result of an increasing loss of sanity? In your letter, you wrote that someone awaits me. A warning to ward me from a genuine danger, or merely the ravings of a brilliant mind, addled by insanity. Something steers uneasily within my heart. I'll not rest easily again until I go back to that boarding school, find out what secrets may lie within. Farewell, Mr. and Mrs. Beechwood. Rest now in peace. So as our friend takes his somber existence to consideration, he decides, I'm going to have to go back. Episode 2, Memories. So, got the usual stuff. Well, there's no going back now. Bloody carriage left us again. An old and quite damaged mailbox. There's a postcard inside the mailbox. Dear Matthew, it's been several months and still I've heard no news from you. My brothers insist that you have abandoned me, but I'm sure you remain true. I know that you'll never do that to me, for I know your heart and the honesty of your eyes. I got this address from a hospital in London and pray that it reaches you safely. If that is the case, I want you to know that I will always be waiting for you. Forever yours, Juliet Holloway. Okay, so as typical of any adventure game, we're going to do the game of Fetch Quest. The Angel Gabriel, the school's emblem. I remember it being very pristine, but it looks neglected and dirty now. What's this? A stone eagle lies on the floor. It appears to have broken off of the fountain. Can't put it back. Let's see. Could go in from the back, but let's be polite. Let's go from the front door. We could go this way. Sir, these rooms are private. Yet, see some. This painting holds a visage of judgment, but yet compassion. Let's see. A huge wooden crucifix watches the door. Pardon? Excuse me, sister. Good evening, sister. Good evening. I'm Mother Elizabeth. What brings you here, Mr. Devitt? I'm a former student of this boarding school. As you can see, Mr. Devitt, this stopped being an academic institution a long time ago, and is now exclusively dedicated to prayer and the well-being of the patients under our care. I see. Even so, may I please speak to Mr. Devitt? I'm afraid that we are too busy to start wasting time talking about past issues. In addition, there is little to say. We sisters arrived after the boarding school had closed down. Everybody but Monsignor, of course. Monsignor? Exactly, but you didn't answer my question. Why have you come to this place, Mr. Devitt? I guess honesty's the best policy here. No need to hide. It's not like these nuns are going to be murderers. This place will help me remember my past. If you have memory problems, I would recommend you to visit the doctor immediately and don't waste your time here. It'd be good for me to appreciate the past. I guess that would be a good idea to visit this place again and perceive the passage of time. Perceive the passage of time? What are you talking about? To be honest, I prefer not to talk about it, so you go through all three options. I couldn't tell you why this place is so important for me, but it is. A lot. My friend told me to go back here. He hasn't been hanging around recently. Well, I appreciate your honesty, Mr. Devitt. I'll allow you to stay around here. I hope I won't regret my decision. Don't worry, Mother. Thank you. And with that, we have... So let's start exploring this place. Mr. Devitt, you're not allowed to get in there. Let's try this one. Okay, it's private, but we can get in here now. Some bandages and other medical equipment, nothing of interest. Picture of Saint Camillus de Lelli, patron saint of the sick, hospitals, and nurses. He seems to have forsaken this place. Okay. Someone's asking where. Bunch of medical reports. Among the baggages, I can see a packet of letters bound by twine. Doctor. I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor. Pay him no mind. He's been delirious for some days. I'm Miss Mary Vinge, and this is my brother, Matthew. Matthew? Juliet. Why have you left me? Why don't you answer my letters? My letters. You see, the poor man's still obsessed with his fiancée. He won't accept that she left him months ago. My poor Matthew. I'm very sorry, Miss Vinge. I hope he recovers. Mr. Vinge, I think this letter is addressed to you. Oh, thank you. Leave it with me if you'll be so kind as to... You can see my brother's too weak to read it. Well, Matthews, let's see who has written to you. Oh, it's a letter from our mother. Dear Matthew, I hope you're recovering. I wish that your beloved sister and you come back home soon. Yes, remember a good times when we're all together. Miss Vinge is making up the letters. Yes. So while she's talking, let's destroy one family. My letters, all of them. I wrote to dear Juliet. You never posted them. But why, Mary? Why would you do such a thing? How could you be so cruel? I had to do it, Matthew. You refuse to see how inappropriate a match she is for you. Her only interest is in marrying someone of your status, of our family status. It was for your sake I did this. I did it to protect you from that woman's treachery. She was. No, you only thought about yourself, of your vanity. I can't bear to look upon you anymore, Mary. Leave me be. From this day forth, you are no sister of mine. Dare banish me? I who stayed by your side all through your illness? Very well, Matthew, you'll have your way. I'll leave you and then you'll see how very alone you are. Farewell. Thanks be to the Lord that you've come to reveal my sister's cruelty. Please take this coin as a token of my appreciation. It's my lucky coin, though I hope it served you better than it has myself. This point's probably an unlucky coin. I hope hope it brings me better luck than to Mr. Vinge. Photographs of people, most likely family or friends of this bed's previous resident. A magazine entitled Weird Tales. Are you alright, madame? There was a rhythmic sound, like breathing. What do you mean? It was last night. I felt an increasing pressure in my temples. Something dry and rough like tree bark brushed against my leg, and I saw something on the wall, like a growing shadow. I lit the lamp and there was nothing. I'm sure it was just a nightmare, madame. The poor woman has fallen into an uneasy, fitful sleep. He's quite a pale young boy. He's asleep. There are several crucifixes altogether at the headboard of this bed. Why? Piety. Please, someone. Piety. I'm sorry you cannot be here. Is there some way I can help? Don't worry about it, sir. The Lord looks after each other and every one of our patients. He will provide you with all the help you need. If you wish, you can pray there next to the statue of Our Lady. Don't you think she's beautiful? The Virgin listens to those in need. But... so she wants to talk to a gloomy statue of the Virgin Mary. Makes this place even more mournful, if that is possible. Picture of the Virgin Mary gazing at her, supposedly to portray sympathy and compassion for her. However, she seems to look more pained and sorrowful here. I unlocked the door so the access here too. This leads outside. This goes back to the front. Also of interesting note, you could see that the sound effects are not just localized. They don't just pop up here. They pop up to where the sound's coming from. That's very nice, especially if you're kind of hard of hearing. A locked wooden coffin, badly finished. It seems that whoever made it was a bit rushed to finish. Is it that bad? I don't think it was anyways in a hurry at that point. Good evening. I hope you're right and this turns out to be indeed a good evening. My name's David. I did not know there was a graveyard here. My pleasure, Mr. David. I'm Frank Baldwin. Do not ask me why, but Monsignor specifically ordered to bury the corpses here. Did he order buried corpses here? Why, I don't understand. What is there to understand, Mr. Devon? God has forsaken this place. Excuse the interruption, Mr. Baldwin. I'll leave you to your work. Have a nice evening. A small group of graves has been categorized near range. Dying very quickly if that's the case. Cliff somehow looks very inviting. I wonder how many poor souls have jumped from it. Oh, so dark. Many years adrift have perfectly smoothed this float sand into a small log. The Lost Pilgrim, a sea stack older students at the school used to climb. Somewhere up there are my initials. I guess I'm not going out there though. Is if we can something to do with the Virgin, I suppose. Virgin Mary statue. A dusty old tapestry of the Virgin Mary with baby Jesus in her arms. double-sided tapestry of Jesus Christ. Another tapestry. Though I remember from my school days the student dormitory was here. Mirror, there's a protruding piece. Let's take that. Just a couple of old towels. Showers, old, rusty, poorly maintained. There's a puddle in the shower hole with something shining under the grating. I cannot see it properly. Tap or the shower. If I open the tap, the shiny object will be carried away by the stream of water. Meanwhile, in this room, a syringe next to a flask with a label that reads morphine. A bit of a druggie. Can't get it yet though. One of the humble beds where the nuns sleep. On the upper shelf of the antique cupboard, a well-worn blue Bible and rosary beads gather dust. Shame. I would have expected those to be used. Good evening, sister. Sister? All this suffering, all these tears, all our prayers unanswered. Oh, what do you mean, sister? All these years entrusted to the Lord, praying, looking for a sign. For something that can give me strength. Every day I hear them cry, pray, scream, and die. What for? Where are you, Lord? Why don't you answer me? No, I'm not cynical. The Lord works in mysterious ways, sister. Certainly, yes, but I don't ask for much. Just something to go on, a path to follow. I can't go on, not like this. Excuse me, sir. Through the big open window, dusk cold wind freezes the room. I'm missing something. Did you say you cared for patients? Of course, Mr. Devitt. We tend to both the physical and spiritual needs of those in our care. Did you say that Monsignor already lived here when this venue was still a boarding school? Indeed, he still was priest and professor before he became Monsignor and started to lead this place. Who's Mr. Baldwin? Monsignor instructed me to take him on as caretaker. Many of the sisters find him a bit strange, but he performs his work well and complains little. Could I talk to Monsignor? I'm afraid that's impossible. Monsignor has left strict instructions that he not be disturbed, not even by any of the sisters. Mother Elizabeth, Mr. Baldwin told me that lately a lot of patients are dying. What's happening? Sadly, the Lord is taking many of these unfortunate souls. Thank you, Mother. I'll leave you to your treatise. Seems that there's still hope to bring my fiancée back. Good for you. Still out of it. It's here. Oh. It's in the classroom suits. I remember that we used to keep some textbooks. Now there's a music box. Dear brother, I've received your letter and I'll try to write you more frequently. I hope you're studying a lot and you feel comfortable there. We miss you a lot. When are you coming back? Father is in bed with fever and I do not feel very well, but I am on medication. Today is my birthday and I'm feeling blue. It is a quiet and boring Sunday at the village. Mom is going to cook a lemon cake like those grandma used to make. I wish we could eat it together. Write back soon. I'm looking forward to knowing how you are doing, what you are learning, how is Scotland, and so on. A big hug. I think about you a lot. Your dear sister. Must be a really old message. Okay. There's an odd sentence written on the board. In death there is hope, in death there is life. One must seek its true nature to understand the nothing. It looks like it's been there for years as the chalk has faded in some places. Books on these shelves are old and musty. Theology is the dominant subject. January 15, 1876. Father Ernest seemed unusually troubled today. Several times he paused abruptly in the middle of a lecture for no reason, even during his favorite class, theology. January 18, 1876. Today Father Ernest was very irritable. Collins made a comment and was expelled from class for it, and even Devitt was admonished just for reading a philosophy book. I hope Father Ernest doesn't turn his ire toward me. My father will be disappointed if I get good grades. Fail to get good grades. January 21st, 1876. It was very disconcerting to see Father Ernest entering class so pale and sweaty. In the middle of his lecture, he stumbled, dazed, and had to sit. January 22nd, 1876. Father Eugene taught our theology class today, even though he doesn't know the subject matter as well as Father Ernest. When we asked him what happened to Father Ernest, Father Eugene told us that he had taken ill. What worries me is that now Father Eugene's also starting to look unwell. February 20th, 1876. It's been a month since we last saw Father Ernest. We are told that he's still sick, but if he is so ill, then why hasn't a physician come to treat him? My studies are flagging, but I have taken it upon myself to read on my own. I hope this helps us. I must succeed in spite of the problems happening around us. February 23rd, 1876. It was announced this morning that the school is to close. None of us know why, and we cannot get a straight answer from the faculty. They each dodge the question, and I'm starting to think that they may not know the answer themselves. Their anxiety is palpable, though they try to hide it behind a calm face. What about Father Ernest? I hear he alone is to remain after we evacuate the premises. There is a picture in the diary. It's the photograph of my graduating class. I see myself, Father Ernest, and Anthony. I don't remember the names of the others. One face has been completely scratched out. Goodness. Someone's hiding. Someone's been trying to hide her again. A music box. Probably it belonged to one of the students. Dear God, this man's asking for help. No, they're nuns, not doctors. This might not be something that she could help on with. Oh, what a beautiful melody. Reminds me of my youth when I was vibrant and full of purpose. I knew my path then. Oh, may God bless you for giving me the sign I was looking for. Ma'am? Ma'am, where are you headed? I'll be honest, that one felt a bit weird. A nun's habit and walking stick. These no doubt belong to the nun I spoke to by the window, but where did she go? The pile of dry leaves have accumulated in the hole of this old rusty pipe. They're blocking the water stream. I think that'd be useless. Okay. That's probably useless. I cannot place the netting there. The pipe's full of dry leaves. Oh, I should just use my own bare hands. Hole has very sharp and rusty edges. If I tried to put my hand in, I could... Okay, this was... Wouldn't that have been a problem earlier? Oh, well, let's fix that. I blunted the sharp edges of the pipe. Now I need not fear being cut. You were not afraid a while ago, now you're afraid? The net should catch anything coming down the pipe. Okay, I think you guys can see where I'm going here. Mirrors too tick the pin in the wood, and it also seems fragile. I could break it if I force it. There's a puddle in the shower with something shining under the grating. I cannot see it properly. Let's flush it away. It's only a puddle of water. The net has caught the shiny object. Lucky. What is it? It's a glass tear, probably once belonging to a piece of jewelry. Kinda odd to expect that in a... Okay, the second floor is occupied by the sisters. Well, it's possible they have jewelry. Again, bordering on sacrilegious, let's go make a miracle. I placed a glass tear in the hollow of the Virgin's cheek. Seems to fit perfectly. Oh, our mother is crying? Oh my lord, what does it mean? What have I done? What have we... Oh goodness, I hope we did not just cause someone else to come to off themselves. You must help me. What can I do? What's wrong with you? There's little time. I tell them about my pain. I describe the unbearable and endless pain. Yet they do not listen. They pass me by without even looking at me. They say that they're praying for me, but it doesn't cure my ailment. But, sir, I know, but I beseech you. You'll be saving me from horrible torture. I'll be eternally indebted to you. Can't shoulder that burden. I will, however difficult this would be for me. Kind of an interesting question for us. If we're in a position where we can help someone but it means ending their life, what would you do? And if you saw the morphine earlier upstairs, you kind of get the hint of what it's up to. Sorry, sir. I do not wish to extend your suffering, but I cannot pay for your relief at the cost of your life. You asked me to shoulder a terrible burden. I'll speak to Mother Elizabeth, see if there's anything more she can do for you. I understand the magnitude of what I'm asking. Thanks anyway, sir. I honestly don't know if he's gonna get his fiancée back. Unless he can find a way to stand up himself. Anyway, let's talk to Mother Elizabeth about this. One of the patients wishes to die as soon as God permits. Mother Elizabeth, one of the patients has begged me to end his life. Is there anything we can do to alleviate his suffering? no more than is already being done by mortal hands, Mr. Devon. It is for God alone to decide the moment of his release. This is all I can do for him. Take this to him. Thank you, Mother. I leave you with your duties. So she gave us a copy of the Bible. Still haven't seen what happened to that other nun. I'm really curious to know. Worn-out Bible whose pages have become yellowed and brittle by the passing of time. I know it's not as easy to come by those these days, but it's still digging. I'm just gonna check, see if anything else happened. For all I know, we just sent 2 nuns to dirt. I could breathe a sigh of relief. Only one nun disappeared. Only one nun's clearly disappeared. The other one's also disappeared. Anyway, let's relieve him of his pain. Someone relieved him brave. That was quick. There's a note on the bed. Up with Baldwin, but what? I guess I could confront him. Poor Romeo's not pining away for Juliet. Can't talk. Can't I tell her that? Oh, one of your patients has disappeared along with one of your nuns. Oh, there she is. Praying the Hail Mary, so and very fervently I read that. Guess you won't be leaving say. After all these years, I've never even seen the man. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't exist. But Mother Elizabeth told me that Monsignor specifically requested her to hire you by letter. I am flattered. My reputation precedes me. But I still cannot tell you anything more about the man. Excuse the interruption, Mr. Baldwin. I'll leave you with your work. Have a nice evening. Something's up. Not getting anything new. I think I know what's up here. This one only helps me because I already kind of know what to do. But this would be really annoying. From this vantage point, I can see the roofs of Aberdeen beyond the copse of trees. Funny, I actually remembered a different city. Clearly the man is lying. Noise is coming from inside the coffin. What in heaven? Cannot open the coffin with my own hands. The lid is nailed shut. unlocks too soft even to use his lever and open the coffin. That's not gonna work. Points too thick to lever the nails out of the coffin. Looks like it's his toolbox. I might be able to take a look if I keep him distracted. Wait, what? Tell me about this place. Well, the construction of this building was ordered by an Episcopal Bishop of Aberdeen in 1805. Tell me about Mother Elizabeth. This is when it's giving me Gabriel Knight vibes, where you start asking people. She's pretty strict, I can tell you that much, Mr. Devitt. Do not think she likes me very much either. Tell me about Aberdeen. Was the place where I was born and raised, one of the biggest cities in Scotland. If you look there toward the northeast, you'll see King's Chapel Tower, highest point of the city. Oh, you seem a bit distracted, Mr. Devitt. Oh, do not worry about it. Excuse me the interruption, Mr. Baldwin. I'll leave you to your work. Looks like the tool's been fairly used, but what for? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. Okay. The darkness of his eye. His body's petrified. He has a look of sheer terror in his eyes. Oh my God! Well, what's happened? Talk to me. Mother Elizabeth's trying to make him come to his senses. Baldwin is gone. A bunch of stuff here. Large, bright, and ornate key. There are papers in which these are the papers which Mother Elizabeth was working on. The door is locked. Don't look into his eyes. Because the deepest darkness dwells in his eyes. That's Anthony, I think. Come in, my son. Did you think you could hide these books from me? These are just classic philosophy books, Father. Plato and Aristotle. Silence! Instruments of falsehood, you mean? Fallacies coming from the snake. No, son, get on your knees and raise your arms. Apologize to the Lord. Pray to the Lord. What the heck? It is Latin. Malum in se. Evil in itself. Strange eye-shaped symbol. Right. Strange or eye-shaped symbol. Oh, come on. No more birds. Eye of the bird. What does this mean? Set of crucifixes next to the door. What do those mean? Oh, jeez. Lord, your eyes burn me. I don't deserve mercy or forgiveness. Oh Lord, have mercy on my soul. Who are you sending me? Is that to whom you are handing me over? Has my hourglass already run out of sand? Father Ernest. Ernest. It's been many years since I last heard that name. Oh, I see. Father, I'm here to be able to remember. You have to help me, I beg you. Please, entreaties, petitions, praying, torment, exemption. Past times bring us just misfortune and pain. Father Ernest, I was one of your students. One of my old students, you see. It's only the Lord who teaches us. You must all follow his ordinances and disciplines. Get closer, son. of Christ crucified. Inexplicably, it has a dark cloth covering his head. Walls are completely covered in crosses. A mentally ill act. He has a large burn covering his eyes. He's completely blind. Despite his decrepitude, extreme thinness, and paleness, I can still recognize Father Ernest, but he seems far away, like in another world. Makeshift altars coated in a dense layer of wax. Candles having almost burnt out, only barely illuminate the room. Glory be to the Father, and the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be. Now, my son, tell the Lord which is his voice, the sharp sword, the wise quill, or the delicate petal. Let's consider the theme. Person seeking forgiveness but could not be forgiven. Only seeks pain through when punished. The sharp sword. Yes, that's it, my son. Lord with his sharp sword transmits to us his wisdom, his power, and his punishment. Now, my son, tell the Lord which one is his holy path. Wise virtue, the endless blame, or the blessed penance. Definitely not the first one. This one's a bit tricky here. And then say endless blame. Endless blame. Yes, that's it, my son. Nostra culpa infinita est. And it always was and will. Now, my son, tell the Lord who are you, faceless pilgrim, gate guard, or the lost sinner. Definitely not the gate guard. Lost or just faceless? Faceless pilgrim. No! There's no salvation of the Lord for your soul. Now leave me alone, I have to purify my soul. Actually, if you get for every answer you get wrong, cross drops. Let me read this note, but I kind of want to aim for this one. Right now, if we answered everything correctly, I would have been free to read this one. I've been free to get this one. Now I'm playing a mini game where I have to get things without him looking or hearing. Got a razor blade. I want to aim for the note 2. An old razor blade stained with blood. Oh dear, what have you been doing, Father? Good timing. Dear God in heaven, I feel for you. Your light's in my eyes. I will burn them for you. Dear God in heaven, I feel myself in you. Your eyes are in my soul. I will burn it for you. Dear God in heaven, I feel myself in you. Your sword's in my hands. I'll burn them for you. Dear God in heaven, I hate myself. My blame is in your heart. I'll burn myself for you. Goodness. I know you are there. You didn't hear me? Get out of my room. Despite being blind, he preserves good hearing. Must be more careful in moving. We got what we wanted. Using the wooden stump as a handle, I can use this to cut. And we... I know what we're cutting, but... Again, another question of logic. Couldn't we have just lifted this thing? Let's try not to stay here too long. And finally, our expert on philosophy, Jeremiah Devitt, shows up. Where were you, my friend? We have been looking for you. Well, as I was saying, tonight's the perfect moment for our next meeting. But I suspect that someone outside their group is secretly surveilling us. Who is it, Anthony? My dear friends, it is Professor Glenn. You mean Father Ernest? Certainly, no doubt about it. Therefore, dear colleagues, I've decided to change the venue for tonight's meeting. Have you noticed the lounge behind the small door of the classroom? I believe convenient to borrow the key for our necessities. You already know, at 12 o'clock, you'll find that door open and I'll be inside the lounge. That is it, my dearest colleagues. Videte ne kiskyat. Videte ne kiskyat. So that's where we got the old saying. I remember that in this furniture we used to keep some of our personal belongings. Now it is empty. Walls are in complete disarray. I could probably punch through them if I tried. I remember that this is the bed where I used to sleep when I was a student here. Dusty mirror. You gotta be kidding me. That's not the best way to regain your memory, I guess. Let's see, this place. Well, we don't have our inventory. Mr. Rabbit was jumping through the forest in a warm spring afternoon. When going through a bush, Mr. Rabbit ran into Mr. Wolf, Mr. Vulture, and Mrs. Snake, who were having a heated argument. Mr. Rabbit, curious, asked them, "Dearest, why are you arguing in this beautiful and cheerful spring afternoon?" Mr. Wolf answered politely, "What we are trying to decide here is who of us will have the pleasure to eat you up." Mr. Rabbit, really scared, said, "But I do not want to be eaten. I want to live." Mrs. Snake answered, smiling, "That's impossible to happen, Mr. Rabbit, since we all, both you and us, are going to die sooner or later. Don't you think so?" This layout looks familiar. Mr. Vulture added, "Mrs. Snake is right. We should stick to the issue at hand. It's getting late, and as you see, we do not agree. You want to help us decide, Mr. Rabbit? Who would you suggest as the one to eat you? I'm more concerned than who's standing over there." After thinking about it for a while, Mr. Rabbit came up with an idea and carefully said, "I got it! Why not organize a race? The first who arrives to the forest clearing will have the privilege to eat me. No doubt Mr. Wolf can run at high speed, but Mr. Vulture can go flying and avoid any obstacle. And I'm sure that Mrs. Snake knows all the shortcuts within the forest. What do you think?" Predators agreed that it was fair, so they started the race and they disappeared quickly. Mr. Rabbit, happy to trick them, started running at high speed in the opposite direction of the predators who, eager to prove their worth, didn't realize the trick. Mr. Rabbit was far away from there, and he finally felt safe, happy and proud of his cunning. But suddenly there was a loud bang. The earth shook, frightened birds flew, and everything went dark. The end. It's a sad story. There's something I kept to myself for a long time. I love you. I've always loved you. Since the first time I saw you, since the first time I felt your frozen hands. Each time I move away from you, I miss your glassy, empty, dead eyes. I miss your rough hair, your grayish skin, your stench. But our love just cannot be. It is an impossible love. Is that the caretaker? No, not again. How long have I been sleeping? What was that all about? Good question. In the nightmare, found a place in my memories. Dark recesses. Let's find the place. So we're definitely going this way. I kind of want to explore the other paths, but okay. Still alive. Still out. Still out of it. Still asleep. Still missing. My disturbing nightmare was brought to this spot. It's a trap where I saw in my nightmare. From your spots and horrible stench, there's something. Did you see? Did you see? It was there, just in front of me. That thing, it was screaming. Dude. He's dead. His face is contorted in an expression of abject horror. These stretchers used to carry the corpses here. Who's behind all this? It's just been dumped out here. He must have been dead at least a week. Still bearing an expression of horror. The decayed corpse of a young woman. Seems as if she has been devoured by an animal. What did I walk into? The walls are splattered with dried blood. I'm glad this is just pixel art. Punctual as always, David. Now that all that remains is to introduce our guest. You may come in now, Professor. Father Ernest. Do not worry, my friend. I invited him to join us this evening. The professor genuinely shares our curiosity. And who better to complete our group than one of the most renowned theologists? Moreover, we mustn't ban those who are willing to explore beyond the veil. The moment we have long awaited has now arrived. Please, all of you, take a seat and we shall begin the procedure. Soon shall the door be opened, and then may we finally see what lies beyond. Now, as I ask that you close your eyes, you will feel a momentary prick as I inject you with the serum. Father Ernest, even after all these years, I've not forgotten your voice, nor the fourth witness. What? I remember now what happened. What is that we saw? The eye of the bird. Alumin's. What happened to us? What is it that we witnessed? You must tell me. You must make me understand what my mind cannot fathom. It was our curiosity that damned us. We opened that which should not have been opened. In doing so, we shorn the veil that separated our world from his. In seeking vision, we let ourselves seen by the eye of the bird. Remembers us, looks for us, calls us from its dark nest, from its abominable lair. All these years I've attempted to return to it, but I have no strength enough. These poor wretched creatures are too fragile. They lack the sight to return. Not one of them has. Only us, the four witnesses. toward the other two. Where are they? They disappeared as you did. I haven't heard from any of you, but I was seized by curiosity and absconded with my fate and deprived me of sanity. Oh Lord, forgive me, for I have sinned. Nothing remains. All that's left to surrender. Surrender to him. Gravely have we sinned, and now our only absolution is to burn in the flames. Baldwin? Okay, this is probably where not seeing the captions would have been great. Oh, you gotta be kidding. Well, we know there are 2 more episodes, so we know this is not the end of it. Man, this is a horrible way to go for all those patients. Horrible way to go for Father Ernest. And it seems it's a horrible way to go for us. Back when this was just episodic, when all the episodes were still being released, this one was really a great cliffhanger. And the bastard didn't even have time to set up a cross. Adventure continues in episode 3. And let's see if this one part is still there. Well, they basically got all the community descriptions. A lot of the small items, those were descriptions from the community. So sometimes if the text is a bit weird, it's basically because they just copied it verbatim. So that's it for episode 2. But let's take a look at that one extra. Yeah, this is the one I clicked on. I should have done earlier. Sky is cloudy outside. An anatomical model built of actual human bones. Must be something wrong with the water pressure valve. Okay, scalpel, pincer, scissors. Here I have the police and medical report, latter still blank. According to the police, the deceased's name is Father Ernest Glynn. The man immolated himself. As you're wondering as to how this guy found him, that'll be something for episode 3. We'll see if the police report is right. Good Lord, what a mess. Skin's all scorched. Cause of death is probably shock caused by the sudden burns. Horrible way of passing. What could lead the man of God to commit such an act? All that remains is to file the medical report so he can receive the proper treatment a fine gentleman deserves. Nothing else to do here. Should fill the medical report. This case still puzzles me. If he wanted to commit suicide, why did he do it in such a painful manner? Was he drugged or intoxicated? I should check his stomach for signs of poisoning. Need to cut his chest open. Alright, stomach looks fine on the outside. Now I should cut it open to check its contents. What's this? Something strange in here. Looks like a piece of paper. Actually, you could have used a scissor to cut the stomach open also. It's a note. Ernest? Okay, you can't read it. Top one is Ernest Glynn. Second one is Jeremiah David. Third one's Alexandre D. Fourth one, I can make it as a Hugo Ash something. Funny, Anthony's name's not on the list. Crumpled note with 4 names, one of them crossed out. I think I should inform the inspector immediately. Hugo Ash. and gentlemen, is the second episode of The Last Door. If you like what you see, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And please don't forget to click on notifications. I'm basically doing this as a little bit of a side trip. That way I don't burn through Magic the Gathering Arena too much. But as it is, this one's actually quite interesting. It's been a long time since I last played this, so yeah, I didn't get everything right. But it's still quite enjoyable. Story still makes some deep and morbid sense. Actually, I might be in trouble here. I might have a hard time sleeping again because of this. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time.